Oh hey guys, welcome to my channel, welcome to another stream, welcome to yet another video, and part 2, working on this guy right there. That's our 144th scale B1-B bomber, or Lancer as they're called. So I'll run the intro and we'll get started. Okay guys, well, we got some done yesterday. Got our upper and lower fuselage put together. We got the cockpit in there. And so what I'm going to focus on today is fixing a mistake I made and doing a little bit of painting. So what's the mistake? It looks fine, right? The mistake I made was the fact that I've got my music turned up too loud. The mistake I made was that the fact I need to add weight into the nose of this plane, otherwise it's going to sit on its butt. At least from what I've seen other modelers, that's what they've encountered. So I wanted to put some weight in behind the cockpit. Right back here would have been perfect. It's right in front of the bomb bay door end and in between these two bays right there, the landing gear and the bomb bay. That would have been perfect. But I went and glued the two halves of the fuselage together and now I can't. So I'm restricted. Whatever I can fit in the nose is all I can do. So obviously I can't fit any bolts, I can't put any nuts. I don't have nuts that are small enough. My nuts are way too big, sorry. But I can use these. My little ball bearings. These are the stainless steel ball bearings that I put in my paints to mix them up. It happens to fit. I can get one in there right now. Doink, it'll fit right in there. But it sits right at that post. There's a post right inside here. There's a post right there. So the ball can only go down that far. Just that far. That's it. So I want to take my Dremel and Dremel out that post so that at least maybe I could fit 2 balls in there before hitting the little cockpit part. So that's what I'm going to do first. Okay, so I'm going to grab my Dremel here, this guy here, and I'll change my bit to my little carving bit so I can shove it up the nose and start working on that. I'll change the camera in case you guys are interested in watching me Dremel. Okay, and I'll also change my glasses. Like I said, the whole point is just to get rid of that. I don't know if you'll be able to see on the camera. There's a post in there, right in there, just inside there. If I can eliminate that post, maybe I can. Actually, the way I've got to do this is you're not going to see. Sorry. So I'm just going to sit here like this and do it. Okay. That may have done it. Got Dremel dust all over me now. Get rid of all that out of there. Okay, let's see how that did. Let's see if I can drop any more in there. Oh yeah, that's 1, 2, 3. I can get at least 3 in there. That's good. Okay, that's much better. So, how am I going to get them to stay so that they're not rattling around? Well, I have this stuff here. I'm going to try this stuff. JB Weld. JB Weld Clear Weld. Quick setting epoxy. 5 minutes. Okay, I'm going to try this stuff out. It says for tile, most plastics, ceramic, glass, wood, and more. So I'm going to try this stuff. Try this out. I have not used this yet, so I'm not sure how to even get the top off of it. There's an easy mixer included. Is there? Okay, so that's way more than I need. And then this goes on here as a cap. Hey, just like that. Okay. All that messing around for nothing. Let's mix these up. Okay. So, all I need to do, really, is take a ball. This is going to be a little messy, so I'm going to put my glove on, just so that I don't have to worry about epoxy on my fingers, because I'm going to have to drop it in there after I've dipped it in the glue. But let's see how my tweezers do. If I can grab this and actually have it hold, okay, there's one. Where are you going? Two. You notice you didn't hear that one drop? That's because it landed with the glue on it. That one landed right there. Okay. There we go. And that should dry, and those will be good. So that's 3 in there. I might be able to fit a 4th. Yeah, I can get a 4th in there. But I don't have glue on him, so he can go in right there. Alright, so we got 4 in there, and I already know this is our nose. I can fit one more in the nose there. So that's good. So we've got those in there. And that's all I need. Now, I don't want it to move out. You stay in there where you belong. Okay, I'm just going to leave this at a bit of an angle like this for now. I'll set that up. Like that, good enough. And I will put one in the actual nose cone. Doink, oops, I did not really mean to drop it. That was a mistake. There we go. And one in the nose cone. So I got a total of 5 of them in there. And that, I'm hoping that's all I'm going to need. Okay. I would have liked to actually put more. Well, I would have used some, like maybe, I don't know, 5/16 nuts or something like that. That's what I would have preferred to use. But you know, you take what you can get. So I'm just going to put this back in its thing, and I'll hang that back up. Okay, so with that done, the next thing I wanted to do was, before we move on to any more assembly, I wanted to spray paint the white inside our base here. And I wanted to spray the white on our wheels. and actually get the white get the white on the landing gear. Even though the landing gear is already white, I want to actually paint it white because it's going to look better and more uniform to the other parts. There's our landing gear. And while I'm at it, I'm just going to take a look at our instructions to see exactly what is next in the instructions, because I know I've got to primer the whole thing. I haven't primered it yet. Get that. Actually, while I'm talking, I am going to primer some parts here. In particular, are parts that see, like our bay doors. These are supposed to be white on the insides too, right? So I need to prime these before I paint them. I got a lot of priming to do. Okay. Priming is key. Even if it's just a little bit, I need to prime it. Some of these doors and stuff, I don't know if I need primer on all sides. Well, I'm sure I do, because I'm going to be painting all the sides. But for today, I don't know. I don't know if I need it today. And sorry I'm doing this off camera. If you guys want, I'll change the camera here. Let me get my painting cam set up. And you can watch me prime this stuff. Sure, that's good enough. There we go. Okay, here we are. So yeah, I just finished priming this side. It's a little wet still. This is the main side. I got to do these sides with white. So I got to do a little bit better on my priming on this one and this side here. Okay, that one's done. I want to get my bombs primed because I am going to have to paint these guys green. These guys are going to be green. And, well, the green's just going to look better over top of a light gray primer rather than trying to get it in on the plastic. There we go. I don't think I need any of these parts today, but still. Yeah, I don't need any of these. We have these two pieces which are going to go on, and these two, and so those are like the forward fins. It's all that's left on the A-tree. But let's look at our landing gear. We gotta. This is going to be kind of strange, even though I'm painting it white. I need to prime it gray. Just because. It is going to look better when it's actually primed. Okay, so that's kind of primed, at least for what I need to today. I'm going to fire up my air compressor. Now normally everything gets painted just white, right? Just plain white, and then I weather it. But the instructions actually call out for insignia white, which if we look at, X2 white, just plain white, like that, and then we get insignia white. This is the LP35. You can see it's not quite the same. This camera is kind of similar. Let me change it here. And you can see now it's a little close up. Not quite the same, and definitely not on the lids, right? Just a slight shade, not quite white. Insignia white is not quite white. Excuse me. Let's see how these are doing here. And this is practically filled with epoxy. That might take a few more minutes to dry. Let's see how this guy's doing. That ball feels pretty solid in there, although I could move it if I really want to reef around on it. I don't want to do that. I'm just going to leave that. I'm going to paint these guys under here. Now I'm going to mask off my little cockpit. I don't want to accidentally get any white in there. So I'll just hit that with a little piece of masking tape. Maybe I'll just use this here, sitting on my desk. Why not? Well, why not? Well, because it's not big enough. I'll use 2 pieces, just to be safe. I don't want to paint white over the black that I painted. Like, why waste the black, right? There we go. Okay. Cockpit is protected from the white. There we go. I don't know if I've got this thinned or not. I don't have my signature little T marked on here, so I don't think it is thinned. Let's see. Ah, it is. That's full, so that's thinned already. You know, to me, a paint's basically, they fill them up about, you know, maybe to here. Maybe halfway up this part. That's basically all you get. So it's pretty easy to tell if I've actually added more to this. Okay, so airbrush cleaned and ready to go. I was using it on a different project yesterday. So I'm going to take a look here at our landing gear just to make sure I don't have any nubs that I need to trim off. It looks like we're okay. And of course the sprue is white. Now we do have this weird thing. I don't know if this is... I'm going to look at the instructions and take a look at this F5. Let me change the camera, I'll show you why. This piece here has this big thing coming off of it, and I'm not sure if I'm supposed to trim it here or just trim it completely off. So I want to look at our landing gear and look at F5 and see where that goes. So there's F6, this one. Where's F5 go? F2. It's F3, F1. I do not see. There's E3, F4. How about back here? C, C2, C5, C4. I'm not seeing F5. It's not going to be anywhere up at the number 1, 2, 3, or 4 steps. It's not these, it's not that. It's not in our bombs. C4. This is interesting. C, E, F4, E3. There's F5 past it. So it does have this thing sticking off of it. So even though this is very delicate, I am supposed to try and keep this. So I'm going to trim this big nub off of it. Like that. This is extremely delicate. And I'm guessing maybe it was accidentally bent or something. I'm going to add a little bit of glue to it, just in case it has been cracked or something. I don't know what's going on with that, but just add a little glue because it does bend. It's a little flexible, so just in case. Okay, so that's all. This whole sprue is going to be white. Looking at the instructions here, I do know I need to paint this guy white on both sides, and I need to do the insides of our doors. Both our landing gear doors and our struts, and all these doors all got to be white on the inside. This one does not have to be painted. This is the one-piece version if we're doing the door closed, so I don't need that done. Same with this one, same with this one. Okay, these are the doors that will be used if it's open. 1, 2, 3, and 4. These are just plain because this is the outside. These are as if the door's closed. Same with this guy. I will put these on there for using as a mask over the bays when I actually paint the fuselage. But for our purposes today, I don't need to paint these two at all. Okay? Okay. So, that being said, we're done priming most of it, and I think we're ready for some paint. Okay? So, let's put some paint in my airbrush. Go. That there. So you guys know I like to wipe off so I don't get lots of paint in there. Okay, I'll change the camera again back to the painting cam, and you can watch me do a little painting. Alright, so here we are again. So, test spray. Alright, this is basically just to redo. It is a little bit hard to see on the gray primer. This is where the black primer helps in spraying this kind of stuff. It's much easier to tell when you're actually getting the job done and when you're spraying. But it's good enough. And of course this is insignia white, so it's not super bright white. Just making sure I get all my angles. Alright, flip it over. Okay, so these are now insignia white instead of straight white. So now we'll do these ones are going to be a little bit easier to see because, well, it was gray. I painted them gray. Now painting them white. Okay, so that's all the parts on this side. Okay, to get this side now. Only for a couple, I think. Actually, the only part that needs any white on this side is this guy. And we might need some on the sides. Okay, so go back and do another coat. Right. That is it for this sprue, except for this one piece needs another coat on this side. And then this is done. Okay, this one's done. So last but not least, we're going to do our fuselage. Okay. First thing I'll do is make sure I get in on the side walls. I do find that some Tamiya paints, they just want to clog up a little bit. Or I should rephrase that, not really clog up, but they just like a lot more air pressure to get them to flow. One more coat on the bottom of them and I think that'll be done. Okay, that is it. That's done. The white is done. All right. So the white's done. Oh, I got my wheels to do. I'm not done. Hold on a sec. Let's go back. Oops. Here we go. I gotta do my wheels. I gotta do the center of our wheels here. Okay. These got to be done. These are important. Okay. Now the wheels are done. Now the white is done. Which means, you guys watching live, you get to watch me clean up my airbrush, and you guys who are not watching live, we're going to skip right about here.
A few inches later.
Okay, so the brush is clean, which means, and we got our white paint done. It's even drying now, so that's nice. Let's see what's next in our build, shall we? So, I'll change the camera and we can go step by step, see what we got to do here, okay? So, let's get this out of the way. So, we finished off step 1 yesterday. Okay, got our 2 halves of the fuselage together. We got a little wing nubs put in. They're ready. So next, step 3 is getting these 2 pieces put on, A3 and A4. So let's grab our A tree, which has practically nothing left on it. A3 and 4 is these 2 guys. Yeah, really. A3 and 4. Now, I'm going to trim this down just because it's huge. And the only thing left on the A sprue is these 2 little fin pieces. So I'm just going to do this. Okay, that's all I need off of this. The rest of this is garbage. So put these in the box, and this can go here to be thrown away later. Okay, let's clean these up. These are obviously lefts and rights. It's kind of interesting that Academy chose to make these as separate pieces. I think most other modeling companies would have had these on the fuselage and just had a parting line going down the center for you to either fill in with putty or whatever to clean it up. I get a little bit of flashing on the edge here, so I'll just scrape that off and clean that up a little bit. Okay, so these go on these sides here, so we'll see if I got the right one here. I'm pretty sure they're going to be specific to each side. Yeah. Tight fit on there. Hey, do I need glue? No, I don't need glue, but I do. And I got a little bit of a lip, which means it's not pressed in all the way, but I'm gonna have to sand that down in any case. Let's see how tight this side is. It's just as tight, fits in just like that. Don't even need glue. Still got a little bit of an edge on this side also, so once I got these glued on, I'll sand them down a little bit, fix up that edge. Like I said, it's such a tight fit, I don't really need the glue, but I want the glue because, you know, later on sometime they just might wind up popping off of there. And, well, you don't want your parts popping off. That's some later date when you're not ready for them. Okay, so those are in. And that's literally the only thing to do on this page other than play with your wings. So, let's skip to stage 5. We have options here. There are basically the, I'll call them airbags. They got the same kind of thing on the F-14 planes with the swept wings. These bags that go back there and they inflate when the wings are out and they deflate so when the wings come back. Basically, something like that. I want to have the folded wings version because I want to be able to either have them out or not, even though it's not accurate when they're out, right? So let's take a look at these. C, 17, 18, 20, and 21. Off of our C tree happens to be the tree that we painted here. So we're either going to be using 17 and 18 or 20 and 21. Let's just see the difference. There's 17 and 18. And let's put 20 and 21 over here. Okay. So, 17 and 18, they're going to go like this. It's not, I think I'm getting issues from nubs. We've got little guide pins to go in these holes. I mean, it's pretty, it's a little redundant, I'd say, to put guide pins to make sure that you got it lined up on there like this. But what it does is it helps hold it in place for you, I guess. Acts like a snap fit. The one thing that I am curious about is if this is supposed to be pressed so that it's flush here, or if it's supposed to hang down a little bit. See how that hangs down? If you're supposed to squeeze that up in there like this. That is a good question, because the bottom of the plane here is flush with this, but not with that. I don't think you're supposed to squeeze it together, is my guess. That's my guess. Anyway, so that's in like that. Let's take a look at the wing and see how that goes. This is 17 and 18. Let's see what the wing does when we put it on there. Of course, I got to do the proper side. The wings look, if you're not really paying attention, you'd think the wings are identical lefts and rights. But from what I've seen online and what I can tell, I can tell you too, since you're watching me online, they are not identical. Okay? The patterns on them are definitely an upper and lower, and I'll show you. Okay, you can see this pattern. Let me get it in the light. There we go. See this pattern here? If I show you the underside of this wing, you see they're different. And it's not necessarily the rear tip, it's the front, the leading tip, the leading edge. Look at the difference here. Okay, we get these in line and get that lined up so you can see them. Okay, there. Okay, see that pattern is different. Okay, this pattern here, where that's I'd say the more detailed pattern, this is supposed to go down. That's supposed to be on the bottom. Okay, So, this guy, put him in. He's supposed to go in. Yes. Yeah, okay, so because of this, you cannot put it in. You cannot put that in there. So that's why we have these. These are very thin. This fills up that whole gap. So let's find the side for this side. Let's put this in here. Although it looks like this one's going to fill up the gap also. Maybe it's a little different. I cleaned up the wrong side. Here. Put that guy on there. Yeah, see, he leaves a big hole. And there's our difference. So that when I put the wing on here, okay, the wing can actually slide back and slide into that gap. So there's the difference. Okay, the other one will fill up that gap. Okay, fill it up completely. So that's the difference between our sides. Okay, so I'm just going to make sure I've got no funny business going on with this. It's going to be flush. And I have to hold it a little bit for it to be flush, but that's all right. Hold that down for a sec. A little more in there. There we go. Okay, I'm just going to add a little more here and here just to make sure she stays where she belongs. So I got a little bit of an edge at the back here. It just kind of wants to lift up. I'm going to have to sand that down, but that's okay. Let's grab our other side here, clean this up. These are the kind of things that, you know, because they're basically make them so, the tolerance is so tight so that they practically stay together themselves without any glue, that you get the tiniest little bit of flashing on them or something and suddenly they don't fit properly, or they really resist. I'm going to hold this one. We've got a little bit of a gap here, so I want to hold that there. Just hold that for a minute. Meanwhile, I'll flip the book over and see what our next step is. Our next step is to choose either, we're either going to be putting on the bay doors like this and closing them up, or we're going to do our bombs. And I see there's a piece that I missed, two pieces that need to be painted white that I neglected to do so. So I need to paint these white again. Not again, but I need to paint B12 and 14. But before I paint B12 and 14, you see there's our two pieces in there. Those are ready. Let's put that aside for now. This is where it requires more painting, okay? I've got to paint my bombs olive drab. I've got to paint them up. Okay. And we've got to see number 7 there. That's green. That's olive. I can assemble my bombs, and we put them together here like this, and then we put them on this rack. Now they don't tell me what color to paint that rack. I'm going to assume this rack is supposed to be white because everything else inside the bomb bay is white, including our bracket. So I think I'm going to take a look at our bombs here. Grab our D tree. Grab one of our D trees here. See, the bombs have these little brackets on them. That part needs to be white also. This part that's in between the bombs, this all needs to be white. In between the bombs. Each piece needs to be white. And then we have our separate bombs. These 3 here go with our 3 tail fins. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put our tails on these bombs right on the sprue. Clearly we have different size bombs. We've got little bombs and we got big bombs. Ow! Cutting my thumb. I'm going to put these tails on these bombs right on the sprue here. Like this. It should go in, assuming I got it in the right direction. The funny thing is they've got this this stub is too long, or I'm putting it in the wrong one. No, they're all too long. It's too long to fit in them. That's funny. I gotta trim off the stub because it's too long. Like that. And now it goes in all the way. Isn't that funny how that works? Are they all too long? Yep, they're all about a millimeter too long. See that? You see that on there? That's as far as it'll go in. So I got to trim it down. There we go. I might as well preemptively trim this one too. Okay. Let's grab my other glue. Tip there. Okay, there's one. I can honestly say this is the first time I've done bombs in a 1/44 scale. I've done 48 scale. I can't count how many times I've done bombs in 1/48 scale. And I've done them in 1/32 scale. I think I've done them in 1/72. But that's it. So that's how those bombs go together. I've got the other 3 to do on the other sprue. And I've got a bunch of painting to do. So, you know, I feel like I didn't really get a lot done in this particular session. And yet, I'm still further along. But I'm not going to bore with you guys with the very detailed painting I need to do on the bombs. I'm going to spray them with the green, I'm going to paint them with the white in between them and get that done. I still have those other 2 parts I need to paint white. That's these off of this tree, this little cylinder guy here and this rectangle. Those got to be painted white also, so I got to do that. Which these aren't even primed yet, so I got to do that. I'm going to do that all off camera so that when we meet again, we'll be ready to do some more assembly. Okay, guys? So, having said that, I want to thank you guys for watching. I want to thank you for coming out. Thank you for all the support and the extra subscribers I've received recently. Thank you so much. Hit that subscribe button, guys. Keep on going. We're going to get to 1,000 real soon. So, we'll have that special event coming up soon too, once we get to 1,000. So, down below you're going to see links to my other things, such as my Instagram and my Twitch and all that kind of stuff. Follow me on there. Check out my Twitch channel. Check out my Instagram, where I upload still pictures of everything I've built in the past. And yeah, thanks again, guys. We'll see you all next time.